on a very, very wet afternoon here in Sydney, though the Apple app does show that this rain is going to stop at some point. Rosie's also in Sydney. She's in fact in the heart of Sydney in the CBD, where she heads the Australian College of Professionals. By the way, Rosie, I think you either advertise or you get talked about on one of the radio stations. Do you advertise on radio?
I do. We advertise on Smooth FM, and every so often we advertise on Nova because they're owned by the same company. So yeah, we do. So we have a chat on there every so often about property, and it's certainly I'm finding radio advertising is really good.
Yeah,
been doing it for 13 years.
And you are one of the largest providers of education and training across Australia. In fact,
in the property arena, yes.
In the property arena,
yeah.
And that's where I do my CPD training, and that's where I would encourage everyone to do their CPD training. And the reason that we've scheduled this event today is that the D-Day is coming, because as of 2 years ago, or about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, Rosie.
3 years ago now, yeah.
3 years ago, it changed, and we all now have one date that is the deadline to do our CPD points. What's that date?
It's the 22nd of March. So, basically midnight on the 22nd of March, we need to have all achieved what we need to achieve for whatever class of license or certificate that we hold. And we have that. There are 36 days left, Tom, and that includes weekends. So not a lot of time for everybody who's left it to the last minute. And I mean, human nature is we do leave things to the last minute. And,
Yes.
My old mum used to call me a last minute artist. So I think that her words are still in my head. And I think, we're all a bit like that. So no judgment, just needs to get done.
And it needs to get done because it's not an option. This is not a like. This is a must. In summary, CPD requirements for New South Wales property agents. What are the main requirements that they need to know? Just give us a quick reminder.
Real simple, Tom. If you're a Class 1 agent, which is the highest level of agency you can hold, you have to do 9 hours of CPD, a compulsory or a session that has compulsory topics set by Fair Trading. Another one that we call elective. So it's elective topics. It's not elective to do it or not. And mind you, being part of your real estate gym, and if they're doing more than your guys are doing more than 3 hours with you, that meets their elective requirement. So they've got receipts from you, that meets it. But also if they're a Class 1, they also need to do another 3 hours again on business skills, on how to run a business. Because if you're a Class 1, you have the capacity to either be an independent contractor, be the licensee in charge, or run your own business. So there's your 9 hours for a Class 1.
Okay, to make it easy, because sometimes people find it difficult saying, I'll pick up 3 hours from here, I'll pick up this there. Do a lot of agents, can they just come in, get it out of their head and say, today I'm a Class 1 person, I'm doing my Class 1
They can come in here,
stuff.
Tom, and start at 8:30 in the morning and finish at 6:30 at night, and they've done 9 hours. They've done their compulsory, their elective, their business skills. And between now and 22nd of March, which is 36 days, we've got 11 of those days running here in the CPD. We're running in Wollongong, Ballina, Tamworth, where else? Mudgee, Wagga, Castle Hill, Newcastle. So, all of those places, because we all, as, with an agency head on our shoulders, tend to like face-to-face more than anything else. Yeah. Same deal about webinars, interactive webinars, when you're actually talking, when you can actually talk to the trainer, get it all done in that time. Every day we've got a webinar on of some sort. So, but the 9 hour day, I think you came to one of, part of one of those. It's just, you're in, you're done, you're out. Sorted.
Okay. So we're clear. If you're a Class 1, you need to do the 9 hours.
Correct.
The 9 hours is available for you to do between now and the 22nd of March. You've got a number of those in Sydney. How many have you got of those in Sydney? So
11 more. We've got
11
11
more in
more.
Sydney, and then
Yep.
you've got Ballina, Wollongong. Where else did you say
Oh,
Newcastle?
Ballina, Wollongong, Tamworth, Mudgee, Wagga, Castle Hill, Newcastle.
Okay,
So-
so we'll give people the details on to contact you in a moment, so we know. So what about people that are not class 1? Do they have to do anything?
They do class 2 agents, so still a licensed agent, but a class 2 agent. You have to do 6 hours. So it's the compulsory and the elective, and the same deal. They get to leave at 3:30 and leave their class 1 colleagues behind for another 3 hours. So they come for the first 6 hours and then leave. So they're out the door at that time. So, or, off online or webinar or whatever it is they're doing. So they've got to do the 6 hours.
Okay, so if you're a class 1, could you do the 6 hours and pick up the other 3 hours out of ARIC, or if you did ARIC, or if you're a real estate gym member or something else, or not?
You could do your compulsory in your business,
Right.
and you could pick up your elective through one of those other ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, there's the compulsory, the elective, the business skills. So, so through real estate gym or ARIC or, some of the conferences, you've just got to have evidence that you've done, some training that's relevant to your job, that's relevant to real estate, that helps you provide a better service to your customers, which is the whole thing that real estate gym's about. So, that would meet your elective component, and then another 6 hours or 3 hours if you're a class 2 agent.
Okay. So if right this moment you haven't done your CPD points for 2022/23, is that the way you describe the periods? 222.
Yeah, we just call it the 2022 year. It just makes it easier. And yes, I know we're physically sitting in 2023, but we call it the 2022 CPD. So
Okay.
for assistant agents, this is where, there's 36 days left. There is plenty of time. Yes, we're at the end of the deal, but there is plenty of time for licensed agents, class 1 and class 2, to get themselves compliant and make sure that their licensee in charge is compliant. You don't need the fines that go along with this from fair trading.
This time next month, you're not going to have as many options, right?
No, you're not. You're not.
Because you're going to have 7 days, basically, right?
Correct.
So,
but the big deal, Tom, is for the people who are certificate of registration holders or assistant agents, as we call them now. They actually need to do, their CPD is quite different. There's a big myth out there that they don't need to do CPD. They do. They need to do 3 units of competency towards their licensing qualification, which is huge. It's not 3 hours. It's probably not even 3 days. There's a big amount of work that they need to do. Now, if they got recognition of prior learning, that might be an easier path, but that's for somebody with some experience. And if they've been going for a few years, then they might get some of those. But, if they haven't done that yet, they need to get that going today, tomorrow, really soon, because they've got some serious work to do before the 22nd of March.
So, Rosie, So you offer the 9-hour course for class 1.
Yep.
You offer the 6-hour course for class 2.
Absolutely.
They can do it by webinar or face-to-face, and trust me.
Online.
Or online. Listen, I don't know, Rosie.
I know you did it online one year, and it's not fun.
I'm a face-to-face. After going through the experience there, actually, to be honest with you, it was quite enjoyable sitting in the room with other people from other areas and looking at life differently, because whether we like it or not, we quite often are finding ourselves with the same group of mindset of people. Example, if you work for one network and you're always going to that network, you basically become network brainwashed. It's just very good to be able to have, I was just listening to the conversations around the room, but you're also now telling me if you're an assistant agent, you also, number one, have to actually complete 3 hours and
no. 3 units of competency. It's way more than 3 hours, Tom. 3 units of competency towards, when you think about it, to get a license, to get the certificate for in real estate practice, which is your licensing qualification, there are 18 units. You got to do 3. You get 5 of those in your certificate of registration, and the other 13 you need to get over 4 years, or you can get them in less if you want, but you must do 3 units every year. Can't leave it all to the end of your 4 years. So 3 units of competency is, 1/6 of your licensing qualification. So it's a big, you think about when you did your license, however many tens of years ago.
Yeah, a long time
And,
ago.
like me, well before 2003, when it got easy and then it got hard again. But, when you think about how much effort you put into getting your license, 1/6 of that has to be done before the 22nd of
But
March.
have they, so Rosie, that seems like a lot of work. Have they got enough time to do it between now and then?
Well, they're going to have to make enough time to do it. Yes, they have. And as I said, recognition of prior learning and some, getting, it's one module. The way we package it up, it'll be one module. They'll have to do sales or property management, or, an elective on, commercial sales and leasing or auctioneering, or, whatever that happens to be. They'll need to do that to get across the line, to get those 3 units of competency. And, to get that, they actually just need to get in touch with us, and because everybody's different. Everybody's bringing something different to the table, and whatever it is that they're doing within the agency where they work. So, they need to talk to us. We need to, get them to give us some evidence. And, they may get over the line very easily with the recognition of prior learning. They may need to do a module and actually do an assessment. So,
Okay.
if they leave it another month, no, Tom, there probably isn't enough time to get an assessment done. They need to start it right now. So they're sort of our bundle of people that need, and their licensees in charge need to probably, get out the stern voice and the I was going to say the big stick, but I don't think we should be doing that. But they need somebody to give them a bit of a push. They need to get it done.
Okay, so team, the good news is we've all got time and we've got options.
Yeah.
And wherever you are right now, anywhere in New South Wales, you've got a heap of places to go if you don't want to go to the CBD. It's actually quite good. Listen, to be honest with you, it's actually quite good going to the CBD, because what you can do is you can actually get some shop. You're right in the heart of action there.
We
You
are
can
indeed.
and get some shopping where you want to go to an R.M. Williams shop, a Kathmandu shop, there's lots of things to do. And I don't know whether you want to actually talk about the investment, but I mean, the investment was quite minimal, very, very, very affordable. How do people, Rosie, what is the best way? Like now, when people hang up, do they email? Do they ring?
They get on our website and they book in. So it's acop.edu.au.
Okay, Susan, do you mind in the chat box, if you're there, Susan, and also on Facebook? Beautiful.
There it is. It's up.
It's up there, right? So you go to that URL, and do you enroll in the exact course off that link?
You can go into enroll now. You choose CPD. You choose what you want. Click on enroll. There's a couple of questions. Name, phone number. Which one are you doing? You can pay there and then, or you can have elect to have an invoice sent to you, and you're done. And you're into the course. Or if you're not that good, pick up the phone and call us. Super easy.
Okay. Most people actually find self-sufficient booking online, don't they?
Absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes we don't hear anything until they walk through the door, whether it's here or in one of the regionals. So, but the thing is, a lot of people say, but haven't the CPD rules changed?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, they have changed, haven't they, or not?
Not for this current CPD year, Tom. They're changing as of the 23rd of March for next CPD year. And all everybody needs to think about, it's less hours of training, but still a real intense focus on additional training from the licensee in charge perspective. But hey, I reckon let's talk about that on the 23rd of March. Don't confuse what's old and what's new, or what's current and what's coming. Let's just deal with what's current, which is the 9 hours for class 1, 6 hours for class 2, and 3 units of competency for assistant agents, and, get it done so you don't get fined. And it's also the licensee in charge needs to remember that if their team members don't get it done, they're responsible for that as well. There's a joint responsibility here for licensees in charge to make sure that their people, that anyone under their license, be they class 1, class 2 assistant agent, gets their CPD done. Or they're running that risk of having some, a penalty infringement notice against them.
Okay, so team, you don't have to worry about the 23rd of March one because it's really irrelevant for anyone at the moment.
It's coming soon.
It is coming soon. We can talk about that at another time, but it just sounds like the licensee gets involved a little bit more, maybe a little bit less hours. But the main thing, that's not pressing. That's not what's pressing now. What's pressing is to make sure that you go to bed each night sleeping tight, knowing that you've done your CPD for the year. And there is fines if you don't, and they do look at it. There are a couple of questions that I can see here. Hi, Rosie. I got my Class 1 license in October. So do I have to do it still?
Yeah, you do.
Yes, Sanjay.
Class 1 license. So yeah, 9 hours.
9 hours.
You already
Sanjay.
had to do 6 as a Class 2, and now you're a Class 1, you've got to do the extra 3. If you'd got it after 23rd of December, I would have said 6 hours only, but because it was before then, you hit the 9 hours.
Okay, beautiful. Sharon, will invoices from the real estate gym be sufficient to prove elective hours, or do I need a certificate or other confirmation, like an invoice, and
I think I've spoken to Susan about this, Tom, that so long as it has, how many hours are involved and it's in excess of 3, your invoice is more than okay.
Okay. All righty. Yeah. So, Sharon, I think you're fine with an invoice because there's a lot more than the 3 hours training that we're doing.
Indeed. So
We've
done
1.5 today. We've done it earlier on, so so that's Sanjay says thank you. Rosie, I'm pretty excited. Can I ask you, agents are terrible at detail in terms of record keeping and that. Do you keep any sort of record or send them something?
Absolutely. As a registered training organisation, I mean, we actually we're registered and regulated by Commonwealth Department of Education, a body within that. We actually have to keep records for 30 years. So, right. All you agents need to keep everything for 3. I need to keep everything for 30. I've got them for good. But, there are organisations that do that on your behalf, and, we hear about those, and and they're good to know about. And there's one coming fairly soon that will, I believe, will cover that off quite nicely. But I think that'll probably roll with the new CPD year. And ultimately, one day, Fair Trading will have it so we upload them. But we always send ours out electronically, so super easy. Put it into your folder. Don't delete it.
All righty, team. Let's get cracking. Study for the HSC the night before HSC, which is what a lot of people do. You probably did that too, didn't you?
Studied early.
Did you study the last night?
I did that. And as I said, my mum always called me a last minute artist, but she was also a real educator. So she was always on my back to do it early. So, I had a bit of both there. So I was lucky to have someone who reminded me regularly, I think is the nice way of putting it, to get on with it. So I think that's what you and I are doing today, Tom, reminding everybody with a very gentle but very forceful reminder that you have 36 days left.
36 days left.
Yep.
Rosie, from the Australian College of Professionals, I'm sure I'll be seeing you there in one of the days. Do you actually still teach yourself?
Yeah, I do. I ran a session on commercial sales and leasing yesterday. I've got one on, I'm running a compulsory session tomorrow. And yeah, I actually go out and do a lot of the in-house classes that we run in agencies when we do the whole agency. And
listen, there's no financial, by the way, everyone, there's no financial arrangement here. There's no cash for comments. I like Rosie. I like her business. And more importantly, my clients, the customer, love you, whether it's the Novaks. I just finished a session with Tate and his team.
Oh, lovely,
yeah,
up in the far north coast, love them.
Whether it's agents like Horizakis in all over the place, you do, when they're a little bit of a bigger business, you sort of look after them and actually I think, do workshops for them. Is that right?
We do. We go in-house for probably about 300 agencies, but, you know, even the smaller ones, they come along to the public courses, you know, as a group. So it's lovely when, you know, and people are coming back. We had people in the class yesterday that have been clients of ours actually since before we were a college. So, and
Right.
we're 20 years this year. So big party later in the year.
Yeah. Well, I actually found it, listen, I'll tell you straight, I found it, I mean, and I've been in real estate for 37 years, and I, sitting there, were picking up things of one of your teachers, nice guy, Michael Carolyn.
Yes.
I was picking up things that he was saying that I wasn't even aware of. The truth of the matter is, there is a practical component to, I mean, for the average person is, let's tick the box and make sure I'm not into trouble, right? But in reality, the way that your course is delivered, there is a practical element to it, which is case studies. If this happens, what would you do in this situation?
That's what vocational education is, Tom. It's about taking the theory and the legislation and the case studies and the legal matters that we hear from our friendly solicitors that they're working on, and saying, this is what it means for you as an agent. So don't go down this path because it's the wrong way to go, because this is the possible liability that you hold. Whereas, you know, and I always say, compliance will never make you money. Non-compliance, however, will lose you a bucket load. So, you know, it's just, you know, we do the compliance side of it. You rock in and give agents all of these additional skills that they need to make it real. And the two sides of it is always needed. So, yeah.
I just thought of I just thought of your beautiful new slogan, Rosie.
Yes.
CPD points won't necessarily make you money, but the absence of CPD points may cost you much.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. It'll kill you.
All righty, Rosie, thank you so much, everyone.
Have a great day. Let's hope the rain stops.
Get on it straight away. If you don't do it now, you'll forget, you'll get busy, you'll have your opens, you'll do your callbacks, and before you know it, it'll be the 18th of March, and you'll be running around like an idiot. Oh, what's going on? Where do I find? Looking at the last minute, you know? All righty, Rosie.
All righty. Have a good day. See you, Tom. Thanks heaps.
Bye-bye.